Did you know that on a small island in Japan, people in their 90s walk without a cane, climb stairs effortlessly, and live with an independence that many would consider impossible? It's not genetics, it's not luck. It's something you can also start doing today in your own home, without expensive equipment and without moving from the place where you are sitting right now. My name is Dr. Lucas Mason, and after 20 years studying the health of older adults, I discovered something that completely changed the way I see exercise. Most of us were educated with a mistaken belief that to be strong, we need to lift weights, run, or perform complicated movements. But the most recent science tells us something completely different. And what I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes could be the difference between depending on others or maintaining your freedom. 3 years ago, I met Margaret, a 68-year-old woman who came to my office with tears in her eyes. She told me something I will never forget. "Doctor, I can no longer open jars. I can no longer get up from my favorite chair without help. I'm becoming a burden to my family." Margaret didn't have any serious illness. Her problem was much more common and, sadly, much more ignored. She had lost functional strength. I explained something to her that surprised her. I told her she didn't need to go to a gym. She didn't need to buy equipment. And most importantly, she didn't need to move her muscles in complicated ways. She just needed to learn how to keep them contracted. Today, 2 years later, Margaret climbs the stairs in her house without thinking about it, plays on the floor with her grandchildren, and opens any jar that comes her way. What made the difference? Isometric exercises. And before you think this is just another passing trend, let me show you the science behind it. A study published in the Journal of Applied Physiology in 2023 analyzed more than 500 older adults over 16 weeks. Half did traditional exercises with movement. The other half practiced isometric exercises, where they simply held positions without moving. The results left researchers astonished. The isometric exercise group not only gained the same strength as the other group, but also reduced their blood pressure by an average of 8 points, improved their balance by 43%, and reported less joint pain. But here's what's truly fascinating. When scientists measured the brain activity of these participants, they discovered something unexpected. During isometric exercises, the brain created new neural connections between the areas that control balance and coordination. It was as if the brain were relearning how to communicate with the muscles in a more efficient way. Now, let me explain what isometric exercises really are in a simple way. Imagine you are pushing against a wall. The wall doesn't move, but your muscles are working intensely. That is an isometric contraction. There is no visible movement, but there is real and measurable effort inside your muscles. For years, doctors believed this wasn't enough to create real strength, but we were wrong. What we discovered is that when you hold a muscle contraction without movement for 20 to 30 seconds, something extraordinary happens in the muscle tissue. Muscle fibers activate in a more complete and coordinated way than during many movement-based exercises. And here is the key for people over 60. This type of exercise does not produce the joint wear caused by repetitive movements. Your knees don't suffer the impact of traditional squats. Your shoulders don't experience the friction of lifting weights, but your muscles receive exactly the stimulus they need to stay strong. But there's more. Something very few doctors are talking about that you need to know. Isometric exercises have a direct effect on your blood pressure that no other type of exercise can match. A meta-analysis published in the British Journal of Sports Medicine in 2024 reviewed 270 studies on exercise and blood pressure. They compared aerobic exercise, traditional strength training, yoga, and isometric exercises. The results were clear. Isometric exercises reduced systolic blood pressure more than any other type of exercise. On average, an 8.2-point reduction in just 8 weeks. Why? When you maintain an isometric muscle contraction, something interesting happens in your blood vessels. During the contraction, blood flow in that area is temporarily reduced. When you release and relax the muscle, there is a kind of surge of fresh blood that flows into the area. This cycle of restriction and release trains your blood vessels to be more flexible and responsive. Think of it as exercise for your arteries. Over time, your blood vessels become more efficient. Your heart doesn't have to work as hard, and your blood pressure naturally goes down. Now, not all isometric exercises are the same, and this is where many people make mistakes that can make these exercises ineffective or even dangerous. Let me tell you about Roberto, a 72-year-old man who read about isometric exercises online and decided to start on his own. Roberto thought, if holding a position is good, holding it for 2 minutes must be better. The result was that he injured his lower back and developed shoulder tendinitis that took months to heal. Roberto's mistake was not understanding 3 fundamental principles. First, the correct duration of each contraction should be between 20 and 30 seconds, no more. Second, you need to rest between 30 and 60 seconds between each repetition. And third, the intensity should be moderate, not maximal. If you are shaking violently or holding your breath, you are pushing too hard. These are not minor details. They are the difference between an exercise that strengthens and one that injures. And especially for people over 60, correct technique is more important than the amount of effort. Now that you understand the science and the principles, let me show you exactly which exercises you should do. I'm going to explain 5 specific isometric exercises that have been shown in clinical studies to be the most effective for maintaining independence and preventing falls in older adults. The first exercise is called the wall press. This exercise strengthens your upper back, your shoulders, and improves your posture. Poor posture is not just an aesthetic problem. When your back curves forward, your lungs have less room to expand, your digestion becomes less efficient, and your balance is compromised. Here's how to do it correctly. Stand facing a wall, 1 step away. Raise your arms and place the palms of your hands against the wall at shoulder height. Now, push the wall as if you wanted to move it backward, but keep your elbows straight. You should feel the muscles between your shoulder blades activate. Hold this position for 25 seconds, breathing normally. Rest for 45 seconds and repeat 3 times. What you are doing is waking up the muscles that hold your spine in an upright position. These muscles, called the rhomboids and middle trapezius, are exactly the ones that weaken when we spend many hours sitting or slouching. The second exercise is the isometric hip bridge. This is possibly the most important exercise you can do to prevent falls. Your hips are the control center of your balance. When the hip muscles weaken, every step you take becomes unstable. Lie on your back on a comfortable surface, bend your knees, and place your feet flat on the floor, hip width apart. Now, lift your hips toward the ceiling, until your body forms a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Don't lift too high. Don't arch your back. Just enough so your body is aligned. Hold this position for 30 seconds. What's crucial here is that you squeeze your glutes throughout the exercise. You should feel as if you are holding a coin between your glutes. This is the largest muscle in your body, and it is essential for standing up from a chair, climbing stairs, and maintaining balance while walking. A study from Stanford University followed 200 older adults who had experienced falls in the previous year. They were divided into two groups. One group received the standard recommendation to walk more. The other group practiced the isometric hip bridge 3 times per week. After 12 weeks, the group that did the bridge reduced their risk of falls by 67%. The group that only walked more showed no significant improvement. The third exercise is the chest contraction. This exercise not only strengthens your chest, it also improves your ability to push and reach objects. Many daily activities require pushing, opening a heavy door, getting out of bed, pushing a shopping cart. Sit in a chair with a straight backrest. Bring the palms of your hands together in front of your chest, as if you were praying, but with your fingers pointing forward. Now press one palm against the other with moderate force. You should feel the muscles in your chest activate. Hold for 25 seconds, breathing normally. What's interesting about this exercise is that it also activates the stabilizing muscles of your shoulder. These muscles, part of the rotator cuff, are critical for preventing injuries. And here's a fact many people don't know. After age 60, rotator cuff injuries are extremely common and can be debilitating. This simple exercise works like a vaccine against those injuries. The fourth exercise is the seated quadriceps contraction. Your quadriceps, the large muscles at the front of your thighs, are essential for absolutely everything you do on your feet. Walking, standing up, maintaining balance. When these muscles weaken, your quality of life decreases dramatically. Sit in a chair with your back supported. Extend one leg in front of you, keeping it straight, but without completely locking your knee. Now flex your foot towards you as if you wanted to touch your shin with your toes. At the same time, contract the muscle at the front of your thigh as if you wanted to lift your kneecap. Hold for 30 seconds. Switch legs and repeat. This exercise is especially important if you have had knee problems. A weak knee is not just a cartilage or joint problem. Many times knee pain comes from weak quadriceps muscles that cannot properly support and stabilize the joint. The fifth and final exercise is the wall sit isometric squat. This is the most challenging, but also the most effective for functional leg strength. Stand with your back against a wall. Slide down until your knees are bent at an angle of approximately 45 degrees. You don't need to go down to 90 degrees like a full squat. At 45 degrees is enough and safer. Hold this position for 20 seconds. If this is too difficult at first, that's okay. You can start with just 10 seconds, or you cannot go down as far. The key is gradual progression. Each week, try to hold the position 1 or 2 seconds longer. This exercise works your quadriceps, glutes, and core stabilizing muscles simultaneously. It is the most complete of the 5 exercises for lower body strength. Now, here is the complete plan you should follow. And this is important. Consistency is more valuable than intensity. It's better to do these 5 exercises 3 times a week for years than to do them intensely for 2 weeks and then quit. My recommendation is that you choose 3 days a week, for example, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. On those days, Dedicate 15 minutes to doing these 5 exercises. Start with the wall press, then the hip bridge, the chest contraction, the quadriceps contraction on both legs, and finally, the wall sit. During the first 2 weeks, do only 2 repetitions of each exercise. Your body needs to adapt. After 2 weeks, increase to 3 repetitions of each exercise, and maintain that indefinitely. Now let me talk to you about something no one tells you about aging. Loss of strength is not inevitable. It is not a sentence that automatically comes with age. It is a consequence of inactivity. And the best news is that this loss can be reversed at any age. A fascinating study from the University of Birmingham took muscle biopsies from 75-year-old people who had been sedentary their entire lives and compared them with biopsies from 40-year-old athletes. Then, they put the 75-year-olds on an exercise program for 20 weeks. At the end, they took new biopsies. The results were astonishing. The muscles of the 75-year-olds showed markers of youth and health comparable to people decades younger. This means something profound. Your chronological age and your biological age are not the same thing, and you have control over your biological age. But I have to be honest with you about something. These exercises are not magical. You're not going to do the wall press once and wake up with the strength you had in your 30s. What you will notice, and this is what my patients consistently report, is that in 2 weeks, you'll feel that getting up from a chair is easier. In 4 weeks, you'll notice you can walk longer without getting tired. In 8 weeks, your balance will be noticeably better. And here's something few people understand about exercise after 60. It's not about looking a certain way. It's about function. It's about being able to live the life you want to live. It's about not having to ask someone to open a jar for you. It's about being able to bend down to pick something up off the floor without fear. It's about being able to play with your grandchildren without running out of breath. Let me tell you one last story. 6 months ago, I met William, an 81-year-old man. William told me something that broke my heart. "Doctor, I stopped visiting my daughter because her house has stairs and I'm embarrassed that they have to help me climb them." I taught him these 5 exercises. At first, William could only hold the positions for 10 seconds. I told him that was fine, that he should start there. 2 weeks ago, William sent me a photo. It was him at his daughter's house with his 2 grandchildren, smiling. The message said, "I climbed the stairs by myself, Dr. Mason, and I'm going to keep doing it. This is the real reason I do this work." It's not about adding years to your life, although that's important. It's about adding life to your years. It's about maintaining your dignity, your independence, and your freedom to choose how to live each day. Isometric exercises are not the only piece of the puzzle of healthy aging. You also need to eat well, sleep enough, and maintain social connections. But if I had to choose a single physical intervention you could do to change your health trajectory, it would be these exercises. They are safe, they are effective, and they are backed by decades of scientific research. You don't need a gym membership. You don't need expensive equipment. You just need 15 minutes 3 times a week and the decision to start. And I want you to know something. You are not alone in this. There are millions of people over 60 who are in the same situation as you, feeling their strength decline, worried about their future. But there are also millions who decided to do something about it, and now they are living with more energy, more confidence, and more independence. You can be one of those people. The question is not whether you can do it. The question is, are you going to decide to start today? The studies are clear, the evidence is overwhelming, and the stories of real people like Margaret, Roberto, and William show us that this works. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. So I invite you, after watching this video, to try the first exercise. Just one, the wall press. Do it for 25 seconds. Feel how your muscles activate, and then decide if you want to continue. Because at the end of the day, no one can do this for you. No one can give you the strength you need to live the life you deserve. But you can, and I am here to show you exactly how. Thank you for your time. And remember, your future is not written. Every day is an opportunity to strengthen not only your body, but also your determination to live with dignity and freedom. See you in the next video.